Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. Today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and I will be talking about the heavy hitter deal today. Now, I know this banner has been out since March 6th. I am super late, and I am so sorry for that. I've been super busy. There's a lot going on with school, with life. There's just so much going on right now, and exams, oh my gosh, it's stressing me out. So I don't really find that much time to play Union Cross as much as I did before, but spring break is coming up soon, so hopefully I'll be able to push out some good stuff then. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and talk about this heavy hitter deal. So we are going to get 5 medals for 1500 jewels, which is always just a solid default. Plus, we are going to get 2 magic mirrors. Out of the 5 medals we'll be getting, 4 of them will just be, you know, that random. It could be a premium, it could be some sort of tier 3, but one of them is, the other one, the 5th one, is guaranteed to be one of these heavy hitters. So what we have available here is Hercules B, Valor Genie, Illustrated Aqua B, and then we have the Lingering Will, Illustrated Goofy B, and Illustrated Donald B. So let's go ahead, scroll down here, bypass all this stuff that pretty much says you're gonna get one of them, either 1, 2, or 3 orb, you can get them boosted, and let's go ahead and scroll down to the medals. So these medals are really, really good. I would say maybe the Illustrated Aqua B is not as good. It's definitely not as good as anything else that's in the pool right now, especially since nowadays people are able to get that maximum defense debuff early on in their Keyblade. But if you're not able to do that, if you still need the -2 defense later on in the Keyblade when you are, you know, just setting up and you're using like a speed setup, you're using something like what is like Sleeping Lion, for example, or even Fairy Stars, and you really just need that speed defense down, you can definitely use Illustrated Aqua B. That is still a perfectly fine choice. But the thing about the Illustrated Aqua B that throws me off is that when we look at the Illustrated Aqua B, it is tier 6, it has a maximum multiplier of 1.54, and it is a single target medal. When we scroll down to the Lingering Will, which is only a tier 5 medal, it actually does more. It has a times 16 multiplier, making it actually more useful than that Illustrated Aqua B. Because again, random target medals, they are allowed to spread their damage out. They don't have to focus all the attacks on one enemy if you have multiple enemies. Or if you're fighting multiple enemies and you're using only single target medals, you have a good single target medal knocking out something, but then you're stuck with a bunch of other enemies that could have been taken out if you're using a random target medal instead. So minus the Illustrated Aqua B, the other ones I'd say are really good, really useful. The Valor Genie, which was only available via High Score Challenge, and then the Hercules B are currently the single target medals that deal the most amount of damage just due to their insane multipliers. Like, those things are huge. I think it's like it's somewhere in that like 6.4, 6.5, 6.6. It's something really high, and that is super good, especially for, you know, scenarios where you have to snipe. Talking about our our random target medals, those are good for spreading damage. So for example, when you go into the Coliseum and you go higher and higher and higher, there are usually sets of Heartless where one of the groups is going to be like 5 weak Heartless. We're talking like Shadows or Bags of Coal, things like that. And then there is one boss Heartless within that same stage that has like way more health than all the other ones. Random target medals help you there because they do not have to focus all their attacks onto one enemy. So you don't have to worry if you've got multiple enemies and they're all really weak, because the random target medal will hit pretty much everything. And then when you have to go and fight that boss Heartless in that scenario where you're in the Coliseum, it will concentrate all the attacks, all the damage onto that one enemy. So random target medals are actually still really useful. I know it kind of throws some people off because it's random. Sometimes you're not getting enough damage spread. Sometimes you want that concentrated attack. But random target medals, still really good, very useful for raids. I actually still use my Illustrated Goofy B and my Illustrated Donald B, so they are I'd still vouch for the fact that they are really fantastic medals. So again, we'll just flip through the special attacks here just so you can see them. I still vouch for the idea, I've said it a million times, that these medals are worth at least having one of. Because at the very least, if you have one and you decide you want to Mickey and Broom the thing later, that's totally fine. At least you have the medal, at least you have access to it. If you have one copy of the medal, you can use copycat medals in order to reproduce the effect for 0 cost, and that just makes it sweeter. But the thing is, if you don't have the medal, you can't do anything with it. You can't potentially Mickey and Broom it, you can't potentially copy it. So these medals are really good to at least have a one of, and at the very least, you can decide later if you want to use Mickey and Brooms on it. It's kind of sad that they released this at the same time as that boss time fight, because that boss time fight thing is no joke. It's just really, really hard, especially if you don't have like the Record Keeper Terra, if you don't have the new illustrated, I think it's illustrated Riku Art B, something like that, which has the upright defense debuff. That is like super crucial in order to take out some things. Like as you can see here, I kind of tried running it through, and for the most part I did okay up until the blue part. I'll go more about that when I actually develop good strategies and make a video for this. But it's kind of sad that they released that banner the same time as this event, because they're kind of enticing people to pull and go for like traits or go for guild, stuff like that, which is fine because these medals are really, really good. I have no regrets if I had them, guilted. If they have good traits, that's even better. But don't trick yourself into pulling just because you want like good traits, or like don't really just pull for nothing. The event itself doesn't give you a lot of jewels. It doesn't really give you much really to warrant spending jewels. Like, it's just not worth spending jewels in order to complete that challenge. You could sink a lot of jewels and then still get bad traits. So let's say you had a Hercules B already, it's like max guilted, and now you're at that point, you're just rolling for traits, and that's just too much of a gamble. You can easily waste 1500 jewels just to get a sleep resist. So personally for me, I actually have, I don't know if I have the illustrated Aqua B, but I'm okay with that for now. I have at least one copy of each of the other 5 medals, and that's fine for now. I don't have them all guilted. There's really no reason for me to use Mickey and Brooms on them right now, especially when, as of right now, I have other options. But I would still recommend, if you don't have like a heavy hitter, I'd recommend at least getting one, just because at that point you can center your Keyblade, which ones you use, your buffers, all that stuff. You can center it around that very heavy hitting medal, and you can have that one medal do a lot of work for you. So for example, in my free-to-play account, I have an HD Era EX, which is super useful. It's pretty much the only power heavy hitting medal that I have on my free-to-play account, and I use it for everything. I use it for like magic quests, speed quests, power quests even, and it gets me really, 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 really far when you pair it with copy medals. So it's going to be the same principle here, where you have one medal that's just super hyped up, like the Hercules B, for example, and then you just like triple copy it. So you Hercules B, and then you also add on there HD Shion, followed by one of the backwards key art copy medals. So I would recommend having at least one heavy hitter, just so that you can get yourself by. Again, you can't do anything if you don't have the medal. So if you want to Mickey and Broom it later, or if you want to do like a trait roll or something, you need to have the medal first. So I'd recommend having at least one heavy hitter that you can put your faith into, put your hopes on it, because that way you can at least progress farther in the game. But you shouldn't just pull willy-nilly for this deal if you don't need to. Like, I always say, like, don't go for traits unless you absolutely need to, because, like, traits just aren't worth it. It's a very fast way to waste medals just to not get anything in return. You'll get, like, a poison resist, you'll get, like, a sleep resist, or even worse, you could get, like, defense plus 2000. But that's really my take on it. I would pull if I didn't have at least one of the heavy hitters. I would at least do one pull, because then I could, kind of size up my odds. Would guilting this thing really help me advance my game? Things like that. Another thing that people should just take into consideration, sorry, I'm like 6 still. Another thing that people should take into consideration is that there is a 10% chance that you'll pull another premium, but if you scroll down, it actually doesn't include the, Hercules B, I believe. I didn't see it here earlier. Oh yeah, no, there it is. Okay, yeah, so you could totally still get Hercules B, but you can't get the Valor Form Genie just because it was a high score challenge medal. It is not in the pulls. So is the Illustrated Goofy B and the Illustrated Donald B. Those are not pullable medals. So you can't get extra copies of those, but you can certainly still get extra copies of the Lingering Will, and I believe I didn't see it earlier. Let me scroll down here. Are you in here, Aqua? Alright, I might just be getting tired, but I don't see the Illustrated Aqua B in here. Nope. Nope, don't see it. But the Hercules B is in there. And then we'll just scroll down, take a look at our quick odds here. So, you are pretty much, there's a ×2 chance that you'll get the 1-orbed version before you get the 3-orbed version. So take that into consideration, because especially if you don't have one already guilted, or if you're not close to guilting one, then if you have to Mickey and Broom for it, you know, it's kind of a high chance that you'll get something that's 1-orbed. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that was just some good advice to sway people to either pull or not pull. Again, if you don't have one of those heavy hitters that you can at least put your faith into, I would definitely pull at least once, because then you can kind of work your way around with copy medals, try and figure out what the best setup is for you. And that's my analysis. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I'm getting sick. It's tired. I'm like super tired. It's like 3 in the morning right now. But with that being said, that is my analysis. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to throw them in the comments below, and I will try my best to answer. But as always, everyone, until next time, take it easy.